Hello YouTube, I'm Talska and this is my car. It's a ZL Fairlane 1987 model and I plan to repair it because it's my dream car. I've had plans and I've been working hard to fix it up and I'm getting help from people. There are things that are very rusty on this and I plan to get rid of the rust and replace it with new pieces of steel and get this car roadworthy again. I've got a headlight on so I can try and see better with the camera, but there's a lot of rust in this car. Back there you can see, all against that wall, there is rust, not against the firewall but on the top of the firewall. All those little specks there are surface rust. It's not really that bad. Worst thing here, where it's busted into the interior. This took 4 hours to get the air conditioner out because there are no manuals to get it out or anything. I think it's the Gregory manual or something. That was not very helpful. There's a bit of a thing up here. Haven't had a chance to inspect it yet. It looks like it could be a rust hole. Pretty bad. But I've had my plans, and the main plan is I'm not going to let it rust out entirely. I'll leave some of the rust, and one day I hope to rebuild the body of the car from what I have here. If I can get it roadworthy, that I can keep it. Otherwise, my dad's just going to dump the car, because technically it's not exactly mine. It's in his name. I've been making a mess of things with this car. The wiring system isn't completely out. This is just a part of it. This is the inside of the car. And I know which side goes where. This goes up against the passenger side because this is where the computer goes. I think it might be this one here that's the computer cable. I'm not exactly certain because computer is, no, it's about 1.5 inch in length. That's about 1 inch. So which one's the computer one? I don't know if it's even here. It might be still in the car. Just be alert. I know what I'm talking about. Here it is. That's the computer one. It's still in the car. And it came off of this side, so I'm aware. I'll use this video as a guide for myself and people that wish to know a little bit about what I've been doing. This is mostly for my friends wondering what I've been doing. I haven't been just playing games because gaming is so much and you don't have time to do anything. Okay. This, I drilled a lot. I believe this one comes from over here. Just a smaller piece. Maybe I'm wrong. No, this isn't the right piece. I don't believe it. No. I don't know which one's which. That's the way it goes on. That piece came from here and this piece came from the other side. I'm gonna get confused unless I fix this all up. I had to use a chisel and so most of the metal's been damaged pretty severely. I punctured a hole on the other side from using the metal chisel. I'm 17, I've got a cert 2 in metalwork. I'm gonna fix this up nice and proper. I don't want anyone to know the number plate because I don't plan them to ever know, and I hope this will probably be one day the last ZL Fairlane on the road, because that would be pretty funny if it's one of a kind that was ever made in a big batch and wow, it's one left. Hopefully it's the perfect one. This one in particular is unique. The reason is every ZL Fairlane that was ever made, they always stalled when in drive. This one in particular only stalled in reverse. which was quite funny. In the most unreliable of times, it was very reliable. And yeah, it's some of the doors still work and some of them don't. This one only has a tense hinge. Really tense, doesn't exactly move much. That door there has a problem with the locking mechanism. It's out because every time I opened that door it was locked and I couldn't unlock it. That door there has nothing wrong with it. It did, that one right there. But the first time I ever worked on a car, this car in particular, because it was the first one I ever worked on, was when I was about 10, I think. No, I wasn't 10. Just before high school, so it would have been year 7. 3 years ago maybe. No. Year 7 I was about 13. That would mean it's about 4 years ago I worked on this car. And the first time I ever tried to pull the door apart, it was when I was locked in and all I had was my tools that I left in the car, which was in the back seat back here. I got a Stanley knife out and cut it, because I didn't know how to get out or pull it apart. Then later on I found out this thing just pulls off. I have to get new ones. This seal here leaks and you can see the watermarks on the lighter. Funny because I'm never going to smoke anyway. So why do I need lighters? Work I've done on the car so far, I've done a horrible job. And I was thinking of cutting it out and putting it back in, but cutting out a bigger section, doing a better job. Here, it bubbled up there, and it's been glued before and whatnot. That bubbled up, and so we cut a big piece out and weld a new piece in. Problem is with these things as well, they are flimsy as, because you see the rust in there? They're not really secured properly, they're like glued in or something. There's a hole somewhere here. That's a hole. You can see the light on my finger. That's because it's been rusting, and it does it on these exact same spots on both sides of the car. It's because someone did a crappy job when they did work on the car. These plastic things are busted. And I was thinking about trying to get new ones or gluing them together or do something else. Maybe use stainless steel instead. I mean, plastic crap. Stainless is never going to rust really. I mean, marine quality doesn't rust. Every door is rusted on the bottom, but that's not a problem. We'll just fix it up. Fixing sections of the car which you don't even know about would be cutting out a piece here, grinding it all, and put a new piece in, because this piece here was busted as well. I mean, I put a screwdriver straight through it. I mean, this car rusted in irregular spots. There's still rust and it's all the way up here, but we can try to ignore that for a little bit. I mean, it's not going to hurt it, not for another 10 years. Unless water gets there and sits there for ages and ages, because it's been out in the weather for so long. I mean, it's on the shade cloth, yeah, but it was over there last time, and it had water pouring down on this car a lot. And because the car was on an angle and it had to be pushed really, really hard, the front was lower and the back was higher, so the water was coming all to the front. That explains these rust holes, like this one, but it doesn't explain these ones. And this actually had a few patch-up jobs in the past. I mean, the person who did the work on this car in the past was a dumb person. I mean, I don't see it on the camera, but I can see it now. Okay. Someone did a patch-up job here, which is in the big corner. You can see the hole. See this little triangle piece here? Well, if you follow it, there's a line that goes all the way around here and then goes up and then across again. So it's been done up. I mean, someone did a crappy job of this. I mean, you can see it just barely on the camera. That gives me an idea. Where's the gold texter? I'm gonna put this on YouTube. And this is a gold texter. It's ages old, but still works like a charm. And it's hardly got any gold left in it, but anyway, it feels heavy still. It feels very heavy. Something that's a gold marker. I mean, it's the only thing I have to paint with. I'm gonna paint just before where you can see the mark. I mean, I don't know if that's right, but someone patched in a new piece in the section. I got gold all over my fingers now. I mean, I'm gonna be a gold boy in a minute. Only bad things about these cars is if you leave them out in the weather too long, they rust to buggery. Okay, I'll try and get a nice view of the camera, but you should be able to see a lot better now. Wait, why isn't the camera picking up the light? Okay, you see the line? Just before the line you can see it's been patched up. The gold line points just roughly where the line is, except it's not exactly on purpose. Just so you can see where the line is, the faint line. That looks like it's welded there, but it feels like rubber or something. I don't believe that's rust, but there is rust there. I mean, these cars rust in random spots. This had tarp over it because we knocked out the rear windscreen. The front windscreen was cracked like hell because I pulled it out. Yes. This car has to be tarped up because it's going to rain probably. I mean, it doesn't look so much like it now, but it will rain eventually today. I know because I've been looking at the clouds a while. I'm going to have to clean out this glue so I can cut out this section because there's hidden points that I have to cut from. Section of the car you'd least expect the big rust hole in. It's the biggest one I've found so far, but then again, if it's the whole wall at the front of the car, it's different. This is just hiding it, but this whole thing here is rust hole. I put this here on purpose, just on my tarp. That's about $100, won't get damaged. And because everyone reckons it's a waste of money, I just showed you the area where it was sort of downhill but sort of uphill. This used to have mountain of sand. Okay. This would be where one of the tires sat. Actually, it was more forward. I think here, so I moved it back a meter. Actually not. That might be the wood. But back here, where I'm standing now, all the way across is higher than down there. So the water was always going in the front of the car. It was sort of on an angle, and the angle that the car was actually on was like this. I mean, it was tilted down that way onto the corner. Like the front passenger corner was tilted down, and the back end of the driver's side corner was up. So the whole car was awkwardly positioned. So I got confused on why the rust rusted where it did. Now, if you think about it, this shouldn't have even happened here. This big rust hole. This is actually a piece of metal that's completely rusted out on the near the gutter, the thing that catches all the leaves and stuff. Whereas on the other side, it's only partially rusted away. I mean, that's really confusing how that actually happens. But then again, I think about the angle it's on and how many years it was there. How many years was it there? Dad got the car. I think my dad's had that car for about 10 years. So when I was about 7 or 8, and I'm 17 now. So it was about 9-10 years ago that this car has been out in the weather for. Other than that, he always drove it before then. So 9-10 years can do a lot of damage to a car. I mean, the rust, where I think this rust hole was actually never actually there originally. I think that was there after it's been in the weather for that long. But I know why it would rust there. It's because of the glue holds the rust, water, then it rusts it out. And because the paint's shit itself. I mean, look at the paint on the roof. I mean, when this was out in the weather and I had a tarp on there, it wasn't like this. But when I put a tarp on there, this is what happens. I mean, look, this was a tarp for a trailer sized tarp, and this is from not having a tarp on it at all, but it did eventually get one on it. So you see a big difference. I mean, that's just weird how that actually happens. And starting to get some surface rust on the roof, and that's because the water's been sitting there. Having the tarp on the car 24/7, I think it rusts about 10 times quicker the area. So 1 year would be 10 years worth of rust from having a tarp over the car. That's why when I come out here to work, I plan to have this done within a 3-month period, because it has to be finished by summer. And it has to be ready for winter. Otherwise, it's goodbye car, because it won't be likely to survive a whole year with a tarp on it. I mean, look at the hood. It hasn't even had a tarp on it, and it's already got surface rust on it. I mean, the whole roof of the lid has to be ground back and then sanded. It has to be sanded back, then it has to be painted, and you have to use cold gouache first. And I mean, it's not the best stuff to use because the engine's probably going to heat it up and then turns into gas or something, and it will be bad. So you use it in certain sections. You don't have it touching anything that's going to heat up super hot. So not near this damn thing, not near the radiator. This is only from what I know. I'm not experienced. A professional will probably tell you otherwise, but how I'm just thinking out loud, because I know gouache is poisonous when you weld it. They're rusty. I'm going to make new pieces for it. Oh yes, where it holds water would be these things here. I mean, they're only screwed in, but they hold water underneath, and then they make rust happen underneath them. And if you want me to prove that, I pulled one out, and I had to cold gouache the whole section just about. This was all rusty, it was bubbled up. And I ground it back, and I did some work to it, and look at it now. It's like, you don't even notice it was ever like that. I can pull this thing out with one hand. I mean, this is stuck in here because it's got glue underneath, but I've had it out before. I can get it out again. Now, this section here is rusty. I don't even know how this happens. I mean, water can probably sit there. It's just confusing how the car just rusts in random spots, but that's what Fords do. They rust in random spots. The one thing that's good about Fords is the luxury of the car, the luxury of the interior, and the enjoyment of the ride. Yet the downfall is they're not exactly engineered properly. By that I mean they hold water and then they rust out. I mean, they did okay designing, but they didn't overlook something enough. They looked at something and said, yes, that's good, and it rusts. For example, here it's just rusted away for no damn reason, and that's because of their spot welds. I mean, if they were smart, they would have bogged it up a little bit, just a little bit, where the water sits normally. I mean, they didn't do this because they designed it so it would stop the water from going on the engine and getting down here, washing the car. I mean, I don't even remember where everything goes, but I do remember where most of the stuff goes, and I'll start with the biggest stuff. Okay, anyone that struggles to pull a car apart like this one, like exact model, and they're trying to figure out how to pull the air conditioner out, I found it a pain in the ass because you can't see no bolts on the inside. There's nothing you can see, but the only thing holding it in is some cables, screws, and this pain in the ass. I mean, you can't even see these damn things. That will be one of the first or last things you put back in the car when you're putting the air conditioner. If you're doing the full job like me, the first thing I've got to put back in would be the auxiliary cable, because that's a pain in the ass. I got to figure out how to put everything back together so it fits all perfect. If anyone has any parts for this sort of car, that'd be nice to know if they have any spares, because one of the main reasons is I'm in South Australia and there's only a few problems. There are some guards, well, plastic covers to be exact, that are busted, and they were originally busted. Look at this. This is a vent. There's some fins from the middle section that I stepped on and they snapped in two. So I might make new plastic ones. These things are perfect, and there's nothing wrong with them. Glove box. Only thing wrong with this is the crack in it. I think that's all that's wrong with the glove box section of the car. What else? There's a plastic panel that goes on that side. Can't remember. I don't even know where it is. I got another seat. What was I looking for? For the front driver's side door, which is this thing, new piece, new one of these, because that was already worn. Doesn't really matter, it would need replacing. I'm not going to worry about this because I'll just clean it up if I can, and then if it's not good enough I'll just go with some, you know, paint that blend it. But inside the car, when a car's back together, there's some plastic things that go here on the inside of the car. This one here was snapped. Oh yes, and I just remembered, when the car's also back together, the dash plastic thing, it's kinda awkward, so I don't know where it is exactly. It's hidden all amongst that stuff there, most likely, or outside, or somewhere. Oh, maybe I know where it is now. It's probably under the car. I mean, it was busted and I didn't give a damn about it. I've been putting some stuff on the car to make it a little bit less awkward. It's probably under the car, and if it is... No, they're just the front guards. There's nothing wrong with them. They're perfect. Pretty sure it's outside somewhere. I mean, it's not even under the car, okay? It's somewhere. It's somewhere. I don't even know where it's going. It's gone missing. Okay, it's missing. I don't know where it is. But the dash thing is, plastic is brittle as hell. I just tap it with my finger and I put a hole in it. I mean, just tap, hole. Maybe it's in here somewhere. I don't see it though. I mean, it's massive. Oh, there it is. It is hidden in here. Yeah. This is the whole dash. That's the glove box side, I think. No, it's not. That's the wrong side. That's the other side. That's fine. It's where the glove box is. It's good. I don't know what I'm talking about now. I'm losing track. I'm getting puffed out. I don't know how many cars of this model actually had, like, well, these things. They just went over the roof and it made it really good looking over there. The thing that went here was busted as well. It's been busted for ages and ages and ages. But this thing's rusted out. Not completely, but mostly where the welds are. I'm thinking about repairing that because I know where it goes. And it'll be easy, and it's not really a big problem, that. I mean, there's not much busted on this, apart from the body itself. It's rusted. Okay, so, what else? Yeah. So, anyone wants to know how to pull one of these apart, there's your air conditioner piece. I kept this Glad wrap, and, yeah. I think I can put this back in though. But the problem with this is it's rusted out. The brake cylinder that went there, rusty piece of junk. It's just rusted away. So I think I'll recondition that. I don't know if it'll be a problem to cold gouge that or not. I mean, look at this. You look at it 1 second. Oh, yeah, that's cool. And the next second, that's fucked. Get a new one. I mean, they should look silver. Apparently, that's what I saw in a video of someone's. Well, actually, it was an image of someone's black car. I mean, they look like they look after it and all, but you can't prevent rust. And to prove that you can't prevent rust, there's actually some hidden rust in a section over here, because the opposite side had a rust hole in it, a bigger one, and this side had very little rust. You can see the rust there and there. I mean, I'm looking at the bigger piece of the rust than over here. I mean, the bright light makes it hard to see, so I'm trying to even out the light, otherwise I'll just turn it to second setting. That's on the second setting, that's the brightest. No, this makes it easier. First setting. I mean, every part of the car you have to presume there's got to be rust somewhere. I don't see much of a problem over here. Those screws are rusted out. I mean, really, when they put the cars together, they should have really used some special glue, like oh damn, what's the stuff called again? I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't know what the glue is called again. It's like black glue. When they put the screws in, they should have used that stuff. It'll be in this one most likely, I believe. Not no more gaps. Something like this, but not windows and glass, but something similar. So it's black, silicone. That's what it is. They should have used silicone. They should have used silicone. So this is my car that I want to work on, and it's my dream to at least get one last ride out of this thing. I mean, just one. I mean, I loved it because when I was young and my dad was still driving this, me and my brother used to sit in the back seats when we were going up the farm, which is in Lenswood, and coming back home. We used to enjoy the rides. I mean, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I mean, when we were coming home, me and my brother fell asleep in the back. This wasn't a noisy piece of junk, like a Mustang or something. This was a nice luxury cruise. I mean, to get one last ride out of this car before it goes to the wreckers would be one of the greatest things. Because I remember it. And I'd filmed the ride. This one in particular anyway, because this one was special, because when in the most unreliable of times, this car always pulled through. So this thing here, when it was in reverse, it's in reverse now, it always stalled, but the normal ones stall in D. So that's one thing that's different about this car. Now it's starting to rain, so I'm going to pause the film, stop it anyway, before it rains too hard, and then I can't put the tarp on. So, thanks for watching.